Hello, everyone. What's that, Sandy? Can't hear you.
Hear me now?
Yes, can hear you now.
Okay, I found the mute button finally.
There you go.
You've 3 weeks.
you've got it. You've got it.
Got it. Yeah.
Excellent. Everyone doing okay? Give us a thumbs up. Yes, good.
Thank you.
Excellent. Good to see you all. Good to see you all. We'll just wait a few minutes because there's a few people still waiting to come in. I'm just getting a few messages from people saying they can't find the code again, so I'm just sending them the message and the code. So yeah, chat amongst yourselves for a minute or two.
Just going to sit here and restart.
Actually here.
So it's going to be a blank picture for me.
That's all right, Peter. We can visualise your gorgeous face.
Yeah. It's Simon I see there. Any help, Simon? I don't know how to get. I can't get my video to work.
You're worse than me.
Yeah,
Peter, click on the second icon along the bottom left on the screen.
Yeah, I'm on the start video button, but I get a little slide come up which says cannot start video, fail to start the video camera, please select other video camera in settings.
You need to buy a new laptop then, Pete.
Yeah.
I just rebooted it at some point.
Yeah, I have had this trouble before and I thought it was okay, but not.
Talk to the management and buy a new laptop.
The host has asked to start your video.
I just clicked on that and it should you should just be able to click now to say yes please.
Let me try again. No.
Camera's playing silly.
I'll listen.
Peter, simple question. Do you ever carry your laptop holding onto the screen?
No, this is not a laptop. This is a desktop, but it's like a laptop. It's a screen and everything all combined.
Sometimes you get that issue if you've got another session open, like a previous Zoom or something like that.
Oh, Jez, yeah. No, everything else is off. I'm going to listen.
Okay, Pete, can you see everyone else and can you see the screen? Can you see stuff on it?
Yes, I can see everything there.
All right, that's cool. That's fine.
Thank you.
It'll just be your gorgeous face we're going to miss then.
Yeah, you're going to miss that. So I can nod off to sleep. Come on, you won't know.
There we go. Okay, just still got a couple more people just coming in, so I'll just I'll let these in while we're still waiting.
In the next episode.
Dun, dun, dun. Couple more. Okay. All right, everyone. I'll get started now, and if anyone else does decide to come and join in, I'll click them as we're going through. So hope you're all doing well, and thanks for joining us on a lovely sunny Saturday morning here in the UK. We're going to talk about instructor qualifications, pathways, exams. If anyone starts to come up with a question and you want to ask something, obviously feel free to put it into the chat, and then I can come back to any questions that are in the chat, and we can answer them between us. And we're going to talk about a few little specific things. I've already got some questions that have come in with regards to Snowsports England, the Canadian system, Ivsi, and so forth. So we're gonna just go through some of those questions at some point, and just give you some general information. Try and get you prepped and ready for any courses or exams that you want to do. But feel free to put any questions into the chat. We are going to try and keep it towards 90 minutes today. just because there are other things going on this afternoon, and I know people want to get away to watch football and rugby and so on. So if we do get a lot of questions and we can't cover them, I'll happily collate all those questions and then get back to people on emails, or we can call people direct and go through anything. But as I say, feel free to put a question into the chat as we're going through, and we'll answer all of them that we can. We've got joining me today, we've got Simon Longstaff from the Snowsports at Hemel. He's a tutor for Snowsports England, so he's going to be answering a few Snowsport England questions, and if anyone's got anything they want to put to Simon, they can. We've got Mark Shaxted, who is an Ivsi educator, but he's also a Canadian educator, works for, let me get this right now, the CSIA. There we go. Excellent. And unfortunately, we was going to have a Bayesian representative come on, but just at the last minute, they said they couldn't make it, and they send their apologies. So there's a few questions that I have been sent in for Bayesian, but what I'll do is I'll get the questions direct to the Bayesian office, and we'll get them to answer them so they can be fired back to people in regards to their questions for that. So yeah, I just wanted to start off, first of all, I'm just going to do a screen share, and I'm just going to go through what is basically going on with a lot of the associations. And I've been looking at Snowsports England, Scotland, Ivsi, the Australian system, the Swiss system, and Bayesian and so forth. And just going through on each of their websites, they've all got current information coming up. This is Snowsports Scotland, for instance, and they're starting to advertise courses for later in the year, for April and into May. So things are slowly starting to change and move forward, which is good. Virtually all the sites have got COVID documents, and they've got COVID policies and procedures, which are being put in place. So everyone's got the current information from each of the different governing bodies. This is the Australian website, and obviously down in Australia, they're getting ready for the start of their seasons, which will be in June. And the same for in New Zealand as well. They'll be going through that. So they're starting to update information there. The Swiss website, if you can speak German and French, then excellent. You can get all the information. Unfortunately, it's not in English, but they're starting to add courses and conferences and get together and events that are going to happen during the summer. Just quickly on the Swiss part, obviously Swiss ski resorts have been open this winter, and there have been a lot of courses being run in Switzerland, but the courses have only been available for people that are in Switzerland and they are in the country. So there was a lot of confusion about January time with people travelling from various countries, but in Switzerland, as long as you're in Switzerland, you can go and ski, and you can go and attend courses and stuff that's happening. And Ivsi have had a few courses running over there this winter. Ivsi is gradually updating all of its information, and the course calendar should be updated. I've been told by beginning of June, we should have a full course calendar in place for the next 12 to 18 months, which would be cool. And the last one, if I can just get to this, is the Bayesian website. And on the Bayesian website, they've got obviously all of their different disciplines, and they've got a COVID update, and the course calendar isn't currently showing anything, but I'm sure that will be up there as well soon. So hopefully all of the governing bodies will start to get courses out there, and yeah, there is lots of information out there if people are looking for it. If you're not sure on where to find the information, then feel free to contact me, Mark, or Simon, and I'm sure we can point you in the right direction if there's anything that you're specifically looking for from any of the governing bodies. I tend to sit on my laptop most days at the moment and just scroll through lots of different websites, and I find certain bits of information. So if you need a bit of helping hand, just let us know. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to start off with talking to Mark and Simon, and they're going to answer the couple of questions that have come in with regards to the Canadian system and Snowsports England. I'll then do a couple on the Irish Association. And then, as I said, if you've got a question that you want to pose, whether you want to put it in chat or stick your hand up and we can open up the mic, you can ask us a question. And then we'll talk a little bit about training and development going forward. So someone's put a little something in the chat already. So first off, if I go to Simon for Snowsports England, Simon, the couple of questions that I've got is, what is the difference between IVSI and ISIA, the stamps that are attached to obviously everyone's instructor licenses at certain levels?
Okay, they are slightly different, but quite similar in terms of skiing ability, teaching ability. The remit of ISIA, as I think probably most people know, is you can work independently everywhere except France, subject to any local rules that apply at the time. With an IVSI, you have an international teaching license. IVSI is a German but international organisation. Their license grants you the ability to work with people you know internationally, worldwide, anywhere in the world. Anyone who's been out doing any early season skiing has probably seen the Danes and the Dutch, lots of race clubs out and lots of clubs out skiing. They're all using IVSI instructors. We're working with people we know rather than people you don't know. The way I talk to it for non-professionals is, if you hold an IVSI, you're probably either traveling out with a group of people you know or you're working with a club you know. You're not allowed to stand at the bottom of a lift and say, anyone want a ski lesson? Internationally, you cannot work with beginners. So you can't take a complete beginner out to a resort somewhere. You need to work with people who can, I think the wording is link turns in an alpine environment. UK based, you can work with anyone and you can work with beginners. So it's
perfect. Cool.
Pretty much that covers it.
Yeah.
Any questions, shout.
Yeah, perfect. If anything comes into the chat, I'll come back to it, Simon. So thanks for that. What is the jump from Snowsports England level 3 to level 4 in the coaching standard and technical performance?
Okay, let's do technical first because that's probably easier to explain. Technically, it is quite a considerable jump, as with the other awarding bodies. 1 to 2, 2 to 3, 3 to 4. The jump is considerable because your level 4 is outside and you're skiing the whole mountain with a plom would be the short answer. When I did mine years ago out in Norway, we were skiing the whole hill in all conditions. Probably the steepest we skied was off piste, probably about 40 plus. Quite regularly, we'd probably spent about 30% of our time off piste, but close to piste, we weren't going off the back of anywhere. I'd say it's comparable, but quite in terms of skiing ability to our ISII stroke level 3, probably excluding the bumps. The focus is not particularly on the skiing as long as you're at the level. If anyone's really interested, there is a good thing to read on the SSE website. I'll put a link up in the chat in a minute. But it's essentially the focus is on the coaching side of it. So primarily it is the coaching, but you need to be at a good level of skiing. If you scraped your level 3 inside, don't even think about your level 4. Course I was on, there were 6 of us. 2 of us sailed through the tech, 1 scraped it, 3 didn't get it. The coaching side is a lot more involved and is obviously, with coaching, is a bit more subjective. It's a test of your underlying knowledge, which needs to be in detail. Again, this is all written down. When I did mine, we were split up into groups. We actually worked 1-to-1, and our remit for the week was to make them better. And that was our remit. We were then judged upon that on every day. We did a lot of video analysis, and you're expected to know your stuff. For those who aren't full-time, I would say it's probably quite a challenge. When we did ours, it was obvious those that were working regularly stroke full-time in the industry versus those that weren't. And it does make a huge difference in your ability to work at that level. Anyone's got any detailed questions, I'm happy to talk to people afterwards at a later date.
Cool. And yeah, if you can at some point put that link into the chat, that'd be great for that, Simon. Thank you. The next question I've got is, what standard can a Snowsports England level 2 teach up to, and do all centres in the UK accept these qualifications?
Okay. the answer the second bit first. Do all sites accept this? That's local rules. You know, at Hemel will accept just about anything, and essentially it's, have you got a valid license? Yes, okay, come and join us, and we'll mold you into what we want you to be. That's down to everybody. In terms of what the remit of the qualification is, it's anything inside, as long as you're outside gates. So as long as it's a recreational skier, you can do pretty much everything. You know, you end up with someone who's wanting a session to work on perhaps passing level 3. That might be a bit of a challenge for you, but the remit is anything inside, basically.
Okay, so they could cover things like if Hemel had bumps out, if someone wanted to learn to carve, if someone was looking a bit more high end. Yeah, cool.
Yeah, you might, that might be a little bit out of scope for those who are more familiar with Bayesian Isia. Beyond the central theme might be a bit of a challenge. It's again, the remit is anything inside, but then again, most people inside are not at that level. It would perhaps be not working with instructors or candidate instructors or the highest end. For example, on your level 1 and 2 inside, we might play with carving, but we don't actively assess it.
Yeah.
Level 3 that you can do inside or outside. For those looking to go to level 4, if you're going to do your level 3 and you're not full-time or regular or race training or have any other qualifications, considering do your level 3 outside. For those who have other qualifications who are race coaching and or who've done more in the past, level 3 inside should be fine because you know what you're letting yourself in for.
Cool. Excellent. There's a few questions coming and I'll come back to those. I'm not sure if it's for you or in general, but cool. Thanks for that, Simon. Mark, if I can go to you now on the Canadian qualifications and questions. The first question I've got is, what is the difference between a CASI level 3 and 4 to a European qualification, i.e. a Bayesian or an IASI qualification?
I think you meant CSI level 3 there, Ali, but you know, we'll forgive you that.
Yeah, sorry.
Basically, for anyone in the chat, anytime Ali says CASI, he means CSIA, I think. And unless someone wants to know about the snowboarding stuff, which is pretty similar, but I'll have to draft in someone else to talk about the snowboarding side of things. Right. So the difference there, there's two ways to look at this. First of all, there's the difference in the components of each certification. And so the CSI level 3 and 4, and really the CSI level 1, 2, 3, and 4, is made up of a teaching half and a skiing half, and that's it. So in order to pass the level 3 or the level 4 certification, you need to pass both the skiing and the teaching. By the time you get to level 4, there is an additional component of the trainer development exam, but the CSI level 4 is completely revamped and different in lots of ways this year. So I can get into that more specifically if people want to know. So the reason why the CSIA level 3 and 4 and all these things just have the skiing and teaching and doesn't have these extra components that European licenses require for you to hold that full license is basically because they don't need it. The teaching environment is just very, very different with regards to on-piste and off-piste, for example. For myself, having worked in Canada for 17 odd years, the resort that I worked in, there's a ski area boundary and everything within that is inbounds and it's good to go. There are avalanche controlled areas, but obviously when that's closed off, you don't go in there. That's regardless of whether you're working or not, to be honest with you. But because of that inbounds area, it's not like we need an off-piste additional component to our teaching certification to teach anywhere in bounds. It's not required. So that's why it's not necessarily part of that. So the second half of that answer is with regards to the standards of the common components. So IASI, Bayesian, all of these certification systems, they all have a teaching and a skiing component to them, whether they have additional parts that are not. I would say the level 3 and the level 4 of the CSIA is very comparable to any of the other associations with regards to IASI and Bayesian and stuff like that. For example, IASI Bayesian at level 3 is ISIA standard with regard to the technical and teach, as long as you have the other components as well. That's why you get your ISIA when you complete those certifications. The CSI level 3 technical teaching and skiing components are ISIA standard. However, you would need to complete the components necessary to have your ISIA stamp in addition to that certification. So you can hold your level 3 CSIA without being ISI certified. You'd have to go and complete those additional components. Yeah, that's the long-winded, simple answer.
Perfect. Thanks, Mark. That's cool. Would holding the CSIA qualification help to obtain a job in Canada if a British passport holder was looking for a job?
It's not going to hurt. It's probably the best answer to that. For any of you that have ever heard the name Matt Ottaway, he came and worked with me out in Canada for part of the season before he joined the army. With his Bayesian certification, you can get a job with a certification from a different country, from a different association in Canada. Where it's likely to affect you more is within your rate of pay. That's it. So, for example, Matt came in as a Bayesian level 4, but was paid as a CSI level 3. You know, for him to get the max pay rate, he would have to convert and swap over into the Canadian system. That's really kind of the thing there. But yeah, if you want to work in Canada, why not target a CSI certification?
Cool. Perfect. Thank you. What is the course content for CSI level 2 and how many training assessment days are they?
Right. To get into the full course content here, once again, could take a while. So I'd recommend going onto the CSI website, which is snowpro.com, clicking on resources at the top, and then taking a look through the level 2 candidate guide. And you'll be able to see kind of all of the information in there. Where it gets tricky is the CSIA has gone through another process of completely changing all of completely changing their pathway for the most part, and a lot of the course content this year. So right now, the level 2 is comprised of 2 days skiing, a 2-day skiing course, a 2-day teaching course, and then 2 days of exam. And from looking at the course schedules put out, it's always in that order. So let's say you already have the teaching, you want to pass the skiing. You took the skiing component, and again, you wouldn't then have the exam the following day. The exam would be after the 2 days of the teaching over here. Okay, so it's always split up into 2 days ski, 2 days ski, 2 days teach, and 2 days exam. What's interesting now about the pathway is after the level 1, so for the level 2 and 3, you can follow a skiing track and a teaching track, which means you could be a level 1 having passed your level 3 ski, as far as I understand it. That doesn't make you a level 3, you're still a level 1 in terms of certification. You would have to pass both components to hold that certification. But for example, let's say you passed the skiing and teaching on the level 2, and you say, right, I think I can achieve the skiing, I'm going to focus on that. It just allows you to focus on the pathway that you want to a little bit more. And it kind of keeps a bit of the modularized format that the CSI has had before, in terms of people can take a path that works for them in terms of the time that they invest into a course. But the level 2 is comprised of teaching all over a mountain. Really looking at putting together all the components of a lesson that make a good lesson and a good teaching lesson within a mountain environment. Obviously for CSIA, all the levels are on a mountain environment. But it gets kind of more into the you're all over the mountain and not just the beginner area, whereas a level 1 focuses on that beginner progression primarily and teaching kids and things like that. And then the skiing component is, you're going to see now, is very, very similar with how it's laid out to what it's, what kind of turns and terrain it's using to assess compared to other associations now as well. But I would just go have a look at the course guide.
Cool. Excellent. Thanks, Mark. Much appreciated.
Just to add something there real quickly, Ali, because someone in the general questions has asked about COVID policies. Once again, if you go on the CSI website and click on resources, they lay out their COVID policy there in detail. If you want any guidance or help with regards to steps you might be able to take in addition to the region or resorts that you plan on going to, you might find that some of these associations try to go above and beyond in addition to having to respect whatever rules are in place for where you're going to.
Yeah, cool. I am just going to touch on the sort of COVID policies in a second, because I've got a question that was asked for Ivsi, which I'll go through a little bit of that in a bit. And I'll just read out the couple of questions I've got from Ivsi members. One was Ivsi resits and CPDs. Will there be a process that if people have missed doing it over the last year or have not been able to attend a CPD, to keep themselves up to date? If there is anything missing and you do need to do something, Isia have said that they will do case by case. Send an email in, just highlight your problems and issues, and it will be looked upon case by case. So there's not just a blanket yes or no. They will look at everyone's individual needs, but they are giving everyone until at least September, October time. If they've missed out on last year, you've got that whole time to then get CPD in place, or contact the admin office and they will deal with each case as it comes in. Another one for Ivsi was the course calendar, and when courses and the program will be set for this summer and winter. As I mentioned a little bit earlier on, the Ivsi are looking for June as the target to have the full course calendar in the UK and Europe up to speed, and it should have the next 12 to 18 months of courses on there. The next question is related to the COVID one that just came up as well, and that is, what is the COVID policy for courses in Europe and what's currently happening? It is, as Mark just mentioned, it is for any courses running in a country or region, the policies will be followed to the letter of the law in those regions. For instance, currently in Switzerland, they did have that the educator of any exam had to be tested each course, and every candidate and the educator was being temperature checked every day, and they were making sure they were following all of the social distancing guidelines. It was only 4 people per group with one educator, and at all times when standing they had to obviously keep the 2 meters apart, and it was being policed. They did have the police out on the slopes. So going forward, as Mark mentioned, it will be a case of when courses do start to happen again in Europe, and there is more of an open policy for everyone travelling and moving around, it will be a case of, I would say for all governing bodies, that the local rules will be followed. And if you go onto the association's website, most of them have got COVID policies as well, and telling you what they're expected of the student and of the educator, and all the T's and C's to go with that as well. So it is a case of, as things start to open up, I'm sure there'll be changes, but each association will currently update their websites and get the information out there. But obviously check, it's your responsibility if you are going to do an exam, check the resort, the area you're going to make sure you've got all the current up-to-date information. And once we know whether it is vaccine passports, or we're going to need to make sure we get tested before or when we come back and so forth, all these things are unknown. And I'm sure on the websites, I was looking on the Snowsports Scotland website earlier on, and it does have quite a lot of detailed information about when you return, if you're abroad, and what you need to do following the 10-day quarantine, etc. So a lot of the associations are updating the information on the websites, and just check with where you're going. That would be the best advice I could possibly give. I am just going to answer a couple of the questions that have come in before we go on to some training and prep ideas, and getting yourselves ready and prepared for exams. Adrian's just placed in here, Dave Burrows did a translation of the Swiss manual for part of his exam. I presume the patent. He may be happy to send it if someone is seriously interested in, but expensive to send. Yeah, cool. I've got a contact for Dave Burrows, so if we needed that, Adrian, thank you. Much appreciated. Norman has asked, can a Bayesian UKCP level 3 convert to Ivsi, and how? Yeah, Norman, that is possible to do. What you'd need to do is send us an email, send it to the head of education or to one of the board members, outline all of your qualifications experience and a copy of your current license or certificate. And then we will look at where you would fit into the Ivsi standards, and the conversion would be organised from there. So we do conversions across the all 4 levels, and obviously we do hold the IVSI coaching license as well within Isia. So yeah, if you send us an email, we can go through that with the head of education and put that forward for you. Okay, hopefully that helps. Pam.
Ali, can I just say something? Huss is waiting to get in. He's had a bit of trouble. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Linda. That should be Hussein joining us now. There we go. Excellent. Pam, if you have an ISIA, is it worth doing the Snowsports England level 4, or is it just duplicating the qualification? Simon, one for you there.
It depends as to what you want to do with it. If you've already got a level 3 and you're using it in the mountains, it probably doesn't provide you with very much. However, of course, no education is bad education, and it'll give you the ability, if you were in the need to go out to France and take people out to France. And it is a very, very good course. It's a good week away. It's very quite heavy going, but it is a really good course.
Yeah, cool. Hopefully that answers it, Pam. From my perspective, and I'm sure Simon and Mark would agree, that doing any course, any exam or any training program is going to benefit you in some way. You're possibly going to pick up some knowledge or information or some new ideas. So even if it wasn't relevant to helping get you where you wanted to go or to get a job, etc., no harm in training, as Simon's just said. No harm in doing a course. And I did my Snowsports England level 4 way back in 2004, I think it was. And yeah, highly recommend it. Great course, great information, and it distinctly showed me the difference between coaching and instructing. The different pathways that we go down. So I would recommend that.
And one of the other advantages with the level 3, Pam, that I think you've already done, and the level 4 is you actually get to go away and do a coaching portfolio, and you actually learn most by doing the portfolio and all that's associated with it. Certainly taught me loads.
Yeah, it did for me as well when I did mine back in the day. And I actually think Simon, who's on here, Simon Ellis, was one of my candidates that I used to do my portfolio when we was on the dry slope at Hemel all those years ago. So cheers for the help, Simon.
You never told me, Ali.
What's that?
You never told me you did that.
I didn't tell you I was doing it, but we did do it. You were part of it.
I'm glad to help.
Yeah, Simon's put on some links to the Snowsports England level 2 and level 4. Thanks for that, Si. Natalie has put a 0 and a dot. I'm not sure if that means anything, or I don't know if I'm not down with the kids. If Natalie, if there's anything else you want to add to that, let us know. Hussein, is it still possible for British passport holders to take level 4 in Bayesian? Okay, so to take the exam, there's no problems whatsoever, Alan. Attending the courses, passing the courses, and doing the level 4, whether it is Bayesian or Isia, that part isn't an issue. Obviously, the issue comes now for instructors or British instructors holding a passport to be able to go and work in Europe. I do know behind the scenes for Isia and definitely for Bayesian as well, they are working closely with governments and organisations and the governments and associations in Europe as well, to try and see what they can do to allow British passport holders and British qualified instructors. And that's not just Bayesian and Isia. We've got a lot of British instructors which hold Canadian qualifications or American qualifications and so forth. And it's just about how we can get them to work in Europe with regards to Brexit. And I'm sure Bayesian themselves will update. I know they're working heavily behind the scenes. There's been quite a few updates on that. They are in negotiations, so hopefully we'll find out from them. Isia is doing a similar thing for British passport holders, but Isia does have a lot of Irish members, which obviously can freely luckily for them, still work in Europe because obviously they're Irish passport holders. So yeah, and I'm sure there'll be more information coming out on that in the next few months, Alan, for you. But to just attend the course, yes, it's not a problem at all for a passport holder to go to a course in Europe and take part in that. Hopefully that covers what you wanted there, Alan.
Well, he's also asked, Ali, but cannot do Eurotest to complete level 4. With an Ivsi, you can still complete the CTT speed test component because it's an EU recognised certification. That's correct, right?
Yes, that is completely correct.
But Bayesian is not an EU recognised certification, so is not eligible to take the CTT speed test pathway.
Yeah, and
I
think,
at the moment.
Yeah, and I think that's the crucial bit. Is at the moment, Bayesian can't, but I believe again that is something they are working with the European Union and with the nations in Europe on the speed test to get that part brought back in. And again, Bayesian will update members on that because I have seen on some of the forums that people have been asking similar questions, and they've said that we will get back to you with that information. So. But with regards to Isia, yes, Mark's right.
Yeah, so Bayesian just, I had a look on the Bayesian website as well. They just seem a little bit dependent on the government taking some of the steps that they need to. They say they've spoken to other countries with regards to working in there, and they don't see any problems. Everyone still says it's fine with regards to recognising the certification. They just need our government to I believe, do something that allows them to get access to something like the CTT. But maybe they end up going the ISI pathway, but they are working very hard on it by the looks of things. So,
and just to sort of like follow that last part on as well, that there is a company called Track and Flow, and there's a gentleman called John Eves, which is putting in a lot of dossiers and documents for British qualified instructors, and he's working on behalf of them, level 3 and level 4s, to seek permission to work in France. So if you were interested in trying to find out what those rights are, I would recommend going to the Track and Flow website and contacting John Eves, because he's doing an awful lot of work behind the scenes. And I do believe he's in chats and discussions with Bayesian with regards to a lot of this as well. So yeah, hopefully that helped. But Isia qualifications, yeah, you can do the Isia speed test, which is part of the EU. So yeah, if you gain that, that's all fine.
And Linda's also asked me in the chat whether or not it's worth mentioning that there are CSIA courses available in Andorra through a company called Instructor Academy. Sure, if you weren't aware of that before, check it out. I believe they run up to level 3 certifications. With regards to any resellers that operate outside of Canada, level 3 is the maximum that they're allowed to do. You'll never see a level 4 course run outside of Canada, I don't think. But I will add something to this. I don't have anything to share just yet, but I will say that Instructor Academy might not be the only option for CSIA courses in Europe in the future. When I have something official to say and announce on that, I will.
Oh, interesting, Mark. Cool, excellent. Norman has put, cheeky comment, a good course needs a good trainer educator. Couldn't agree more. And
depends on your definition of good, really, though, doesn't it?
Nods. Back and
yeah, and Mark, yeah, definition of good. So hopefully the courses that Simon, Mark, and myself have delivered, we've received a bit of a thumbs up. But there are lots of organisations, and there are lots of trainers and educators and tutors that I know, and yeah, are all really good. And personalities. Hopefully, you'd get on with the person that you're having a course delivered by. But it does help if they are a nice person and got a smile.
Yeah, I will. It's also just been said there that Instructor Academy does offer level 4 training. Yeah, there's no problem with them offering their own program, but that's not a CSI connected thing. I don't know who is delivering that training and that information for them. Any CSIA actual certification and course that they run, that is a CSI course conductor that typically comes over to do that. if they don't have them there. But I don't know what certifications and who the people actually running the training program that's connected to their company, their business are. So just kind of food for thought if you're looking into those options. Yeah, Sandy Gardner, Heather Robson. Yeah, absolutely. I know various people like that, Adrian, that have travelled over. So anytime you're on a course, you're guaranteed to obviously have a course conductor that is eligible and certified to run and deliver courses at that level. I just don't know who Instructor Academy uses to just run their general day-to-day training products.
Just another one in from Jez is on the topic of languages. There is a 7-language Snowsports dictionary published by Swiss Snowsports. Covers just about everything. You can order it on their website, snowsports.ch. Cool. Yeah, thank you, Jez. Appreciate that. Patrick, Norman, when the seeker is truly ready to learn, the right teacher will appear. Oh, words of wisdom from young Patrick there. And just like to take this opportunity to say congratulations to Patrick on becoming a grandfather. Lovely picture that I saw on Facebook today. But very wise words. I like that.
You're very kind, Ali.
Pleasure, Patrick. Absolute pleasure. And good luck to you and all your family. Alan, but cannot do Euro. I think we covered Alan's Euro test to complete level 4. Yeah. Mark, is it worth mentioning through the Instructor Academy? Can obviously not this season. Simon, God, I think you're beating me to some of these comments here, Mark.
Yeah.
To Simon from Hussein, will there be any understanding given by the Snow Centre to finishing our level 4 portfolio? I know it's a hard time at the moment. Si?
Difficult to say at the moment, Haas, as we don't really know what we're going back into yet. I think that there will be opportunities to get people back out the snow so you can get stuff done. No doubt as well, SSE will be looking at the impact this has had in terms of your timescales to finish, because I can't remember how long you're supposed to take. I think we have 2 years to finish your level for your portfolios, but no doubt there will be some, I would hope there'll be a bit of wiggle room there.
Yeah, so I would imagine from Snowsports England's point of view that they will allow that to possibly lap over for a period of time. So yeah, hopefully that helps you. And yeah, Huss, I'm gonna give you a call during next week, because me, Mark, and John, we talked about you after the session the other day, and I'm gonna give you a chat and give you a call about some ideas we had. Okay. Yeah, cool. All right, what we're gonna do is I'm just gonna get Simon and Mark to have a little chat and sort of go over some of their thoughts in how people can train and get prepared for exams, and their thoughts and ideas, whether it is in the UK, whether it is in the mountains, up on the snow on the mountains, and then if anyone's got any questions as we start to talk, again, just sort of drop them in. But Mark, if I can come to you first, and if we take it from the first sort of standpoint of what would you recommend if people are looking to go and do an exam in the mountains, would it be level 2, 3, or 4? What ideas could you give them to start focusing on, to start doing for training?
Right. Well, if you're starting here, and let's say for many of us over here, your time on the mountains is a lot more limited than if you're fortunate enough to be able to spend the entire season away teaching within a ski school and training and skiing every single day throughout winter. I think a lot of us maybe can get some weeks or a month away of training and then take a course. We'll kind of discuss it from that kind of aspect. So really what you're looking to do, and you know what, even if you're away for the full season, I think what we're looking to do is to try to find some way to link our skiing and training in the facilities that we have here, whether that's on a dome or an artificial slope, and to get that as close as possible to preparing us for the mountain, where the terrain is a lot more varied and different from day to day. You get a lot more choices of terrain that you can ski and things like that. So you just want to be better prepared. So the way I look at this is with regards to what you can train here, you can be prepared physically off the snow, and you can be on snow, really develop the range and rate of movements that you have with regards to skills, and you can also challenge your athleticism to pull them off. You've got to spend well, if you only spend, a few minutes in a snow dome or any of the artificial slopes in this country where there's a race program, and you see what some of the young kids are capable of. I know as I get older and older, I am trying to stave off as much as possible feeling like the young kids have got me beat. It's getting harder and harder. But that challenges me every day. I've lost nearly 20 pounds over the last year, and it's challenged me to get in shape and really extend my skiing career. So when it comes to the actual practical element of training and practice, it comes back to the learning versus performance presentation that we did in the first week in the other chat. Is if you're on snow and you're in a mindset where you're trying to put your learning brain on, and you want to push your skills beyond what you can currently do, push your range of movements beyond what you can currently do, as well as the speed at which you can make those movements in your athleticism, go that route. It doesn't have to be that route all day, every day. You obviously need to spend some time putting it into the context of a ski turn as well. But there's nothing wrong with going out there and doing some jumpy around stuff that feels like you're all over the place. You're developing your athleticism, your ability to make that, and you can refine that with regards to some of the elements of a ski turn as you go. That would be the connection that I would make to things we've discussed in the other chat, and towards how to practice here is challenge yourself outside of what you are currently capable of. And you can do that by looking at what the standards are of what you're trying to achieve. That kind of sets a direction, it sets a pathway for you. And then you need to get really good at knowing what's happening as you do these things, so that you understand, it's one thing, like how do you, in terms of choosing a training direction, well, first of all, you need to know what the destination is, but then you also need to be able to recognize when you've got to the destination as well. Okay, so that's kind of what I would recommend from an overall general point of view. I'll let Simon talk, and then I'll maybe come back and discuss the training plan that I'm putting together for the adults racing program at MK coming up as well.
Yeah. Cool. Side, you got something to add to that, mate?
Yeah, I'd echo everything that's just been said. You need a plan, but you need to know where you are now and be honest with yourself. You can't plan a journey without knowing where you are. And things like Mark was saying, fitness, if you're not fit enough, you ain't going to be able to do this stuff, whatever you're trying to do. So get fit enough to do what you want. And also, for those of us who are indoor and probably going to be indoor, challenge your basic skill set. If you've got time to go out and play, go and work on balance and coordination. Talk about it a lot with my racers and stuff. Do a lot of one leg skiing. It challenges your balance. Can you do stuff on one leg that you couldn't do last week? Can you ski on one leg? And if you can't, it's something you can work on inside. Make stuff harder. Can you ski without poles? Can you do everything that you can do with poles without poles? Can you ski the same shapes without poles? Can you ski the same shapes with your hands on your head? Can you, classic one I've done with kids. Yeah, you can do that stuff, right? Go get your juggling balls. Can you do it with juggling balls? Maybe not at Hemel when we're busy, but if you're inside, make it harder. If you're outside, get out there and do your stuff and have a plan. And for those who are at Hemel or other places where you have more senior coaches, come and talk to us. We can help. And for those who are looking at doing stuff, maybe working towards level 2, Huss worked with me when I was doing my level 4 portfolio, and we got it through as level 2. Go find yourself a level 4 coach trying to do their portfolio. Those guys are often desperate for people to work with who are committed, because the largest part of the challenge of finishing your level 4, once you've got the technical outcomes, is actually finding people who are suitably motivated to work with you for the period of time you need to complete your level 3 or level 4 portfolio. I would suggest for instructors, look for someone doing the level 4, because they will know a lot more and will have a better understanding of what you're trying to achieve as well. So yeah, get fit, seek help, challenge your basic skills inside.
Yeah, and I think I would add into this is for those of us that do ski regularly on an indoor centre, go and try skiing on an outdoor slope, on a dry ski slope. Challenge yourself. The dry ski slope is a slightly different way to skill set, to what skills are needed, and you have to make adjustments quite quickly. and putting up some gates on a dry ski slope. Go and try that. And just the indoor centres. If you ski regularly at Hemel, go and have a try at Milton Keynes. Go and have a try up at Tamworth. Go to Manchester. Try and change the slope that you're actually skiing on, so something is at least challenging you. But then following on from what Simon says, if you work at a centre or you work with a team, go to the head of the school or the head of the race club. Go and speak to them. Get them to set you some challenges if you're unaware of what your own challenges could be. Ski with people that are a similar standard, and then give each other feedback. Talk to each other. Ask people's opinions. Don't be the one that's just giving opinions. Be the one to ask for opinions as well, and see what ideas they would have to push your skiing or your teaching or your knowledge. And I do see a lot of people skiing at Hemel, excuse me, and I see a lot of people doing the same thing over and over and over again. And like Simon mentioned briefly, take one ski off, go and ski on one ski, ski backwards, ski with your hands on your head, put your hands on your eyes, get rid of your poles, undo your boots. The list becomes endless, and it's challenge yourself. But understand, as both of them said, on what are you trying to achieve? Where does your journey end? Is it going to be that you become a level 1 or a level 4? Do you want to be better than being just a level 2? Do you want to be able to go to the mountains and ski the powder easily? Do you want to be able to ski bumps? There's plenty of training we can do, but it's just a case of sitting down, thinking about it, and then starting a simple plan and putting that plan in place, and put a little challenge in place every week or 2 weeks or 3 weeks that you're going to try and attempt to do something, but do it differently. My background, I started on the dry slope at Hemel in 1989, and they had a wave slope there at the time, and we used to go and try and jump off it, do helicopters, spins, twists. When we got bored of that, we used to go off the back of Hemel and ski down the grass when it was wet. And we used to ruin our skis, but it would challenge us. And then so when we got to the mountains, our next challenge was, well, we might be able to ski a blue run, let's do a red, black, and so forth. Then we'd go and ski with the Austrian trainers and ask them to challenge us and take us to steep slopes and the powder, the bumps, and we'd constantly keep pushing ourselves up. And if it wasn't for all these things when I was younger, I wouldn't have got to the qualifications and had the career that I had. It's breaking the mold, change what you normally do. And even if it's something as simple as, if you normally ski on a pair of 160 skis, try a pair of 180s, 190s. Go on a pair of old straight skis, ski on them, see what you can do on a pair of old straight skis. But break the mold and change what you do. That is the key to everything. Okay.
Couple of other things I'd add.
Yeah, go on, mate.
For those who are serious about the instructor pathway, get your boots sorted properly. Go and see one of the experts. Yes, it's not cheap, but it makes a huge difference. Go spend some money on some clogs, and then find some skis that help you. And the other thing I mentioned previously, but be honest in where you are now. I've had a few people in the past who say, "Oh, I want to get better. I'm going to come and do some race training." It's, "Oh, I wouldn't do that just yet." No. And talk to people before you drop yourself in too far. Don't take big steps, take little steps. Because you go too far, you actually make yourself worse, probably.
Yeah. I think, and what Simon added at the start of his with regards to find training partners, find one person, a group of people that have a similar goal. You could say you want some people that maybe have the same certification or they've got the similar goal or in the same system, but also expand your horizons and go beyond, train with people in other certifications too. If nothing else there, what you're going to do is you're going to put yourself in a position where you realize that sometimes half the battle in skiing is just understanding someone using different terminology to describe the same thing, or they're using the same terminology to describe something different. Seek to understand rather than say right or wrong when you're in your training patterns and programs. Ali, was there anything you want to add, or can I kind of talk a little bit about the training plan? looking at you.
I'll just simply add that with regards to the boot fitting and stuff like that, I've received a document from Colin Martin, who's putting together an online boot fitting program, and I'm possibly going to go back to him and get him to maybe do a chat on boot fitting at some point. But on this Wednesday's Zoom session we've got a biomechanics expert, a podiatrist, coming in to talk about foot and leg alignment and stuff like that. So we're going to be touching a little bit of that on Wednesday and in the future as well. So yeah, Mark, just before you go, I've just got a question from Peter. Ali, is there any plan to do an additional indoor Isia course at the Snow Centre? I know we can do 1-to-1 with you, and that's great, but a lot of benefit being in group can also be good for. Yeah, Peter. Basically, we will be once we can get back in and do groups. I'm going to start to pencil in some days, afternoons, evenings sessions, and we're going to put together some group format. So a lot of people can eventually then attend and do it in a group environment where, when you're looking at the qualifications, that sometimes can work to everyone's benefit, where you're learning and helping each other with skier analysis, with development ideas, with thoughts and process to teaching, the approach on how you make changes happen. So yeah, we're gonna do that, and me and Mark are going to chat this week about stuff that he can possibly get done at Milton Keynes as well. And I'll speak with Simon and see if we can maybe get something set up with Simon doing something where he does some groups for the Snowsports England stuff as well. So yes, basically, Peter, my long-winded answer there should have just been yes. Nicola, how do I know my boot is right or not? I feel is okay, my boots, but how do I know if I can make it better? Basically, Nicola, I would say take your boot to an expert. If you can get an expert to look at it, then they will give you a greater understanding. For me, it's simple as long as that boot feels right for you and it's firm and there isn't any give at the front or back, then cool. But Mark, are you going to add something just there?
No, Simon is.
Simon?
I've been talking to Colin Martin for years about all this stuff. There's a couple of things you can do straight up. Firstly, Nicole, did you get your boots fitted by a professional? Hello,
sorry.
Yes, I have.
Yeah. Cool. So they should be the right size, because you can actually do quite an easy size check. You take the liner out, put your foot in, put your toe touching the front, and if you've got more than 10 mil behind your heel, they're probably too big for starters.
The only problem is I had my boots fitted long time ago, because I had a 6-year gap between I bought my boots and start skiing because I broke my leg.
Oh no. So how old are your boots?
My boots are from 2014, and I have not used them at all for 6 years until, yeah, pretty much.
Okay, so but you've used them. Have you used them inside?
Yes, I use them inside and outside. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay. It's a difficult one without watching you ski. You know, any of us could probably look at it once you're skiing, but it's, you know, have you got appropriate? Can you flex the boots while you're skiing? What sort of gaps? There's another really easy one is, once you've actually clipped into a pair of skis, firmly lean on the front of your boots and make sure, you know, the gap at the back is no more than a centimetre or so.
Okay.
Just to make sure they're done up, and you know, if they're snug, they're probably all right. I think Mr. Martin did a session on something he's written online about, are your boots done up properly and stuff like that. But yeah, if you've got anything remotely towards special needs feet like I have, you need to go and see one of the really top guys like Colin, if you're local to Bicester, or anyone else.
Yeah, if Adrian in the chat wants to post the name of the person that he mentioned the other day, obviously there's Alan Baxter up north. But
yeah, yes.
The world of ski boot fitting, asking if your boot is right for you, is a very deep rabbit hole if you want to go down it. Okay, because it goes even beyond, like, let's say, okay, can I flex my ski boot? Okay, well then, can I flex it once it's outside in the cold and it's frozen? Then you get down to, well, let's look at your body. If you just stand on your footbed outside of your boot, what direction do your knees move and flex in? Okay, what angle is the cuff of the boot designed to build at? You know, a boot fitter will know that different boots have, like, the cuff of the boot is just naturally at different angles, and so one model of boot might be better for you because you flex a certain direction naturally with your body. You know, having a broken leg, there might be things going on there. There's a million and one adjustments. So whether or not it's right for you, I will also say that with regards to trying it in this country in a snow dome, the snow just doesn't give you the kind of feedback to know how right or wrong it may or may not be. For me, I went from being in a boot that was pretty much the best boot I'd ever been in. The setup was borderline perfect, but there was one last thing that I felt was off. And so in my new boot, I tried out some other things, and I ended up deep down the rabbit hole of boot fitting, and I'm still not 100% happy with the boot. So, you know, and this is the thing, every year a manufacturer might change the plastic a little bit, might change the ramp angles a little bit, might change this and that. So it is, every single time you get a new boot, you need to get the full professional check each time. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Yeah, you can't buy ski boots online.
Can I just make a comment on boot fitting, because I do a lot of boot fitting at Snow and Rock. And first thing is the number of people that come in that only want ready-made footbeds because they're cheaper. You've got to have them made, and they're made by someone that knows what they're doing. So you get the 3 key points of contact. Look at how your foot changes shape when you flex. It can make a huge difference to what type of boot you need. As has been said, every manufacturer changes their boots every year. So you've got to reassess what was a good boot for you last year, might not be a good boot for you this year. Look at it carefully, make sure that the boot fitter has put you in a boot that's right for the shape of your foot and your ability to flex. With ladies, you've also got to consider the fact that the calf muscle tends to come further back down the back of the leg than a man's. So you need a different shape of boot. That's why ladies' boots are shorter.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Cool. Thank you, Nick. Just so you're aware, Nicola, Colin Martin, he based in Bicester, over in Bicester Village. It's not Bicester Village. It's not Bicester Village. It's just, but it's in Bicester.
Centre of town.
We can give you the contact details if you need it. That's not a problem. But there are a few more out there. We've had Adrian say Graham Pugh at Rivington Alpine, Adlington. Solutions for feet, and there is obviously Bartlett's down in West London, Snow and Rock. Obviously, there's some people in there. It's just a case of finding someone that can look at your boot and assess it for you properly, Nicola. Pam's put Ski Bartlett's as well, and Alan Baxter which is right up north in Scotland. But boot fitting is a very specialised thing, and we can put you in touch with people if you need to.
Thank you. Thank you.
Pleasure.
So do we want to talk about some practical applications of how we can go about our practice when we're back on snow? Yeah. Alan is finished now and sold up. Well, that's unfortunate. That rules that one out there. At least you don't need to go all the way up north. All right. So I'll talk you guys through this. So just to let everyone know, I was originally going to do a certification standards talk today. Where I kind of tried to generalize the progression of going from level 1 to 3 skiing and teaching, and look at that, and then we're going to look at some of the information in the association in each association. I then went to the extent of also putting together some videos where I'd even used Coach's Eye to draw stuff on it and all this kind of fancy stuff. And then my Mac updated last night, and when I restarted it this morning, it's now frozen halfway through the restart. So lesson learned. Don't finish off a restart just before Zoom call. Just quickly, if me and you could do a separate Zoom just over the next few days, we can send it out to people on email, or we can stick it online so people can see it anyway, so they won't miss your fantastic presentation. Yeah, I can always put it together as a video anyway. For anyone that wants to, I've posted just about all of the talks I've done so far on the Facebook page, which is titled Professional Development for Ski Instructors. And there's also a YouTube channel of the same name where I post all of the all of the videos and all the stuff that I've done in a much more condensed version. Believe you me, it takes me quite a long time to condense the long chats that we have here into around about a 10-minute video in the long run. So I'm learning. But anyway, so without being able to look at the specific standards pathway as such, though I might try and share some stuff with you in a second here in relation to that. We'll see. That's also one of the reasons to form a training group, because you guys want to spend some time focusing on the teaching elements as well, right? We talk a lot about the skiing and improving your skiing. You've got to spend the time on the teaching and practicing the components of teaching. Anyway, with that being said, so the training plan that I'm looking to put together for the adults race club, or the adults group in the race club at Milton Keynes, is kind of based off a few things. I'm just going to try to open up so I can have a little bit of a better look at it in a second here. Here it is. All right. So basically what I'm doing is it's going to be based off of a pathway. So Simon mentioned, first of all, knowing where you're at before knowing where you want to get to. And then I kind of added in that component there. You need to know that you've reached your destination when you get there as well. So I'm doing there's a very simple foundation to this training plan. Each stage is going to be a beginner, intermediate, advanced level to each of these stages. It can go to expert as needs be. Okay. Each stage is made up of the 4 directions of movement. So you've got your vertical, your fore, after, rotational, and your lateral. Okay. So think of it as a bit of scaffolding. So you've got the 4 corners of the scaffolding, the 4 corners of the foundation of the wall. And within each one, I'm going to have 2 foundational activities within each direction of movement. Okay. So let's take fore and aft, for example. So in the beginner stage, I might choose the 2 main activities are going to be a 2-footed shuffle and an independent leg shuffle. Okay. Now within this stage, I'm not going to say that those are the only 2 exercises we're going to do, but that'll come into the training component. What I'm going to ask people to do is, 1, they need to be able to perform the exercise within that direction of movement. They need to be able to also explain how the body works within that direction of movement, is in how their body is working to achieve that, where they feel muscular tension, which joints are working and which joints aren't working, and how they're working. And then in addition to that, they're also then going to have to explain, well, what's the effect on the skis? You know, if you take a 2-footed shuffle as an example, let's say you did it with one objective of keeping the skis on the ground as you shuffle the feet forwards and backwards, and then you change it to saying the tips and tails of the skis can come up off the ground as you shuffle the skis forwards and backwards. Well, that changes how the body's working, how the muscles are engaged, and it kind of takes care of what the difference is between what the skis are doing on the snow. Okay, so in order for someone to go from the beginner to intermediate level, they're going to have to they're going to be tested out of each direction of movement, and then for an overall skiing objective as well, with regards to a skiing standard for that level. Okay, and it's not just about performing it, they're going to have to explain it, so they can explain, they understand how it feels, what the skis are doing, and how they're moving in order to achieve it. All right, hopefully you can see with that extra level of understanding that they have to force, they're having to use to test out, it goes a level beyond of just doing it for the sake of doing it. Okay, because what I want them to take away from that explanation is that they start to be able to pay attention to the types of feedback that you encounter while you're practicing. You need to pay attention to what the skis are doing on the snow. You want to pay attention to how things feel as you do it. You want to pay attention to how the joints are working. And it's as you do this that you will be able to evaluate your progress. You'll be able to evaluate what your current standard is at. Okay. And you'll also be able to understand how you've achieved your destination when you get there. Okay. So I'm basically building that element in terms of paying attention to feedback through that understanding component of testing out. So you might think, okay, great, I've got this plan, give it to people, ship them away. Where the coaching element comes in is Basically, what I'm going to be responsible for is providing the knowledge and information that they need as they need it at each stage. So if you kind of take, I think Iasi's diamond model of skill acquisition kind of lays it out pretty well in terms of you've got your kind of knowledge, your movements, your performance level to your skill acquisition. If someone's stuck at that first stage of knowledge, well, I'm there to help them explore that. I'm there to help provide that information or to help them discover that information in whatever way needs be. Okay. If they are, I'm then there to kind of help manipulate the movements and the adjustments they're making during their practice and to guide those adjustments. I'm also there to add variability and variation to their practice around those core exercises. Okay. And I'm the way I'm kind of operate this and oversee it. And obviously I'm there to kind of keep watching the athletes to ensure that they're on the right track the entire time and keep the ship steered. Is what I've decided with the other coach that I've discussed this with is we are going to, you have to test out of the beginner stage overall. So what this is also going to do is, let's say you do your fore aft, you're pretty solid there, you do your rotational pretty solid, you do your vertical pretty solid, but edging is a bit off. It's going to allow you to focus on your areas of weakness and identify your areas of strength and weakness. And then it allows us from the coaching side of things to personalize that coaching in a slightly, I think, more easier and efficient and effective way when we have these really big groups. Because I've now got an athlete that's a lot more aware and responsible for their own training, their own learning, it makes it a lot easier for me to interact and communicate with them in those specific areas without having to reevaluate and assess every single time on an ongoing basis. And it allows me to kind of, pay my attention where it is. So as I had a conversation with Adrian that's in here the other day, Adrian, so just I hope you're paying attention there, because what I'm going to be sending you is the foundation and details of this that you can kind of work with. What I'm interested to see if I can do is see if I can extend this to more of a virtual and online format and to see how it works there. So Adrian, you might be guinea pigging this a little bit for me if you're interested to do so. And obviously the benefit to me when I'm using this with the athletes is I get to play about with this on Snow. I get to see where I need to focus most and how I need to change and adjust and operate it to kind of gauge it from there. So to me, that's how I put this into practical terms is I need a plan of how I'm going to practice. Okay. And that to me is I'm a very structure orientated person in my teaching. I find that once I've got a framework, I can freestyle within that framework, but I've always got a consistent direction and plan to how I'm going about things. And then I can freestyle with regards to how I pay attention to certain elements and aspects and make adjustments throughout the session. And really the specific things that I ask people to focus on and do is where you start to freestyle and you tailor to the individual. All right. So that plan, if I tie that a little bit to what I was going to discuss with the certifications things, if you take the Isia certification stuff, if you open up any of the course guides, there's a lesson plan thing in there. Go and open up and look at that lesson plan and do some practice lesson plans. Do it in terms of the tools that you are supposed to use, in terms of the teaching styles, in terms of the skier performance analysis model, in terms of the diamond model of skill acquisition, CSD, core skier development. Write your lesson plan in the terms of the tools that your certification system uses. Okay. Because that's where you'll understand how to apply that stuff within a lesson context, and you'll start to understand how to apply it to yourself when you're out there practicing your skiing. I'm going to try very quickly here to share something, Ali. So that should be me sharing my screen.
Yeah, we've got your screen, your lovely picture of you in your blue and orange.
Okay, let's see what I got here. Blah 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 blah. All right. All right, let's share this. Is that on?
Yeah, it says certification standards. Yeah.
Now, is it showing just the presentation, or
it's currently got certification standards, and there's 6 or 7 instructors standing there.
Okay, but is it taking up the full screen?
That's the full screen now. Yeah.
All right. So I'll just kind of go through this very briefly. This is all I really wanted to look at here. This is how I, in my head, kind of, this is the lesson, the general overall lesson structure that I have. And I've kind of drawn each one as a bit of a slider bar, because you can imagine that that would change. You would adjust the time spent on that in any given lesson, depending on the student, depending on your relationship with them, how long you've been coaching them, as well as the situation environment. Okay. For example, you know, an athlete that I coach on a regular basis, I might at some time spend a lot more time in the development and practice stage. Whereas a new athlete that comes in, I'm going to spend a bit more time in that intro assessment kind of area. So all of that is subject to adjusting depending on who you're with and why. But to me, if I could have access to my laptop and then show you the other countries' way that they do this, they do the exact same thing. When you look at a course guide and you see their standards for teaching, Ivsi categorizes all of this exact same information. They categorize it in terms of safety, enjoyment, and learning. Okay, you look at Bayesian's website. I found this on especially within the level 2 course information. You know, they categorize all of this kind of stuff within communication skills, your ability to use the TIDE model, all of this kind of stuff. The CSIA now puts it in their new teaching model, which it's just a new organization of their information. It's not new really, but they're calling it collaborative teaching, and so they put it in terms of, you know, creating an experience, assessing the experience, you know, varying the experience, and things like that. So they each country puts this stuff in the respect of their tools and how they use them, and how they assess them as well. Okay, but it's all the same stuff. If I once again, I wish I could kind of show you now, but if you could, when you look at kind of so I'm just trying to back out of this if I can here a little bit. Right, have I stopped sharing?
Yeah, you have, mate.
Okay, so for example, and I know I'm getting more carried away with this beyond what I originally spoke about there, so Ali, sorry for that.
That's all right.
But if you look at the teaching stuff within there, if I once again had access to my laptop, I was going to bring up CSIA level 1, 2, 3, Ivsi level 1, 2, 3, Bayesian information. You will see the exact same stuff written in slightly different ways sometimes, or just the information organized in a different way. That's all it is. Okay. To me, I work best when I can put it in terms of how I'm going to use it when I have someone in front of me. That's kind of how I've gone about it. Now, it's the same thing with regards to the skiing. If you're interested in the standards and the standards between associations, if you take a short turn, if you look at short turns as it's described by the CSIA at level 2, for CSIA, Ivsi, and Bayesian, they all write almost verbatim the exact same line, edge and pressure shown after the fall line, almost verbatim in each and every single association. They all write their skiing based outcomes in terms of the outcome as it relates to speed, turn shape and size, the terrain that you use, and the ski performance outcome. They all are writing in those terms, even if they write it in slightly different ways. And that's really what you need to understand, is you need to understand what those outcomes are for that level. So Ali, do you mind if I just try to share a couple of videos that I put together that would indicate that from a skiing point of view, that show that progression?
Yeah, if you can do it, mate, go for it.
Yeah, let's see if I can do it. That is really the big question here. So what I did is I put together, this is just an example through short radius. I'm going to show you a video that was filmed during a level 2 course. I'll show you then the short radius that was filmed during our interski team training. And then I'm going to show you a video that was filmed actually during just a general day of training with some clients as well. All right, we kind of put the two together. So, all right. Oh no, I need to share my screen again, don't I?
You do.
Start that. All right.
Technology and ski instructors.
All right. What have we got here? We got my iPhotos coming up now.
Yep.
All right. You guys see that? Is that on there?
Yeah, it's you in a grey jacket, black trousers.
All right. Hopefully it plays smoothly and hopefully the sound comes through.
No, it's not playing, mate. I can see it playing at the bottom.
Oh, hang on. No, it's because I'll hang on. Let's try again. The sound isn't working here, is it? Gosh darn it. All right. So I actually, was speaking over these videos and things like that. So what you're seeing here, like I said, is this short turn.
Right.
So if you look at the objectives, right, it's a round turn shape. You can see that progressive and constant steering over the legs. You can also see the skis steer quite a lot across the fall line to keep the speed fairly low. This is round about the speed that I would necessarily, the ballpark speed that I'd be looking at from a level 2 standard. So you can see how much the skis need to steer across the fall line. Okay, so that's when you look at consistent speeds and objective, you kind of need to know what the speed is. That's the kind of level 2-ish speed. When we then start to look at ski performance and the pressure coming in after the fall line, I then start to look at where the snow is coming up off the ski. So you see there, snow is spraying after the fall line and it's coming down the hill. All right, same thing if we then go to the next turn here. If I look at where that snow is spraying, you can see the snow spraying after the fall line. It's spraying really heavily down the hill. Okay, so that's your a kind of rough example level 2. It's not the only kind of short turn you're going to be asked to make when you're on a level 2 course. Okay, let's just kind of make that clear right now. But this is just to kind of show you a little bit of an idea of the progression from a level 2 short turn to a higher end short turn with the same objectives in our mind, the same outcomes in our mind, just at a higher standard. Okay, so then we've got this one here. Once again, I'm not expecting the sound to work. All right, so once again, this is a high performance short term, but we watch it through with the same objectives in mind. You can see it's still round. The skis stay a little bit more in the fall line now, because while the speed is still maintained, it's still consistent, it's a higher speed on slightly steeper terrain. Also, really kind of what you want to pay attention to is the skills are blended a lot more. Edging is starting to come on a lot higher up in the arc, and it's coming on with a rotational effort. Okay, so that's what allows me to control that speed at a higher speed and stay a bit more in the fall line, is that those skills are being blended a little bit more. Okay, and obviously the rate of those movements is a little bit higher. If we then start to look at where the snow is coming up off the skis, you can see here that it's coming a lot more at the fall line, and it's being sprayed more off to the side. Okay, so that by the time my skis are facing across the hill and I've adjusted, that snow is way out to the side. And same thing right here, you can see it start to come off. You can see that snow sprays a little way more out to the side, as opposed to in the last video where it would have been coming a lot more down the hill. All right, so hopefully that gives you, just from an overall standpoint of view, all I really want that to do is to give you an image in your head of what a ballpark level 2 standard would look like versus a higher performance would look like. Okay, in this part of the video, I'm just kind of trying to highlight the fact that the upper body still deflects across the hill to create that slightly wider corridor through that ski performance and pressure. Okay, so to try to ingrain that idea in terms of how the speed difference starts to impact how much we steer the skis and how the skills are blended, let's kind of put it together into one video here as well. Once again, I was talking over this as opposed to talking over it here. Oh, I can hear it just vaguely in the background. It's just not playing.
Yeah, it's not playing.
Yes, it's not. The audio isn't loud enough. Okay.
Oh, there you go.
So here you can see starts pretty low, pretty slow. You can see the skis starts quite skidded with the grip coming on after the fall line, and then it changes. And you see the blending of the skills happens throughout the entire arc, and the snow starts to spray more off to the side again. Okay, so quite slow. You can see that snow coming down the hill. Okay, the corridor's quite narrow. And it goes from a rotation to then edge to then rotation and edge happening together. All right, I think I might have put this into slow-mo. Okay, you'll then start to see that edging start to blend, the skis stay a bit more in the foreline, snow spraying more off the side. Okay, so that right there is essentially all I wanted to do was to give you a bit of a visual. Oh, okay, am I still here?
Yeah, you're still there.
Okay. All I wanted to do there was to give you a bit of a visual on the progression, okay, with regards to, a level 2 and then a higher performance turn. Obviously, I'm not going to say that's level 3 standard or even level 4 standard, but it's to give you an idea of how the outcomes look different at the different levels, okay. And what I would recommend you do is you also look at, if you go into the course guides for whatever association certification body you're with, they will write down the outcomes. They have it all written down. Okay, go and look, and you want to be able to interpret that information in terms of, well, how are the movements and the skills blended to achieve that? What are the skis doing on snow? That's kind of what the visual representation I just gave you just did. And what are the things that are going to let me know that that's happening or not happening? And how should it feel when I do that? If you can put what is essentially good skiing into practical terms, that's what's going to help you in your practice, in your training, be able to know where you're at, be able to plan your journey, and know how you've arrived when you get there. Okay, so that's my tie-in to the earlier conversation. All right. So I'm sure I've said plenty there with which to confuse everybody. If anyone is interested in this training plan that I'm putting together and will share with Adrian, I'm happy to make that available to other people to kind of see how it goes as well.
Cool. I would just add in from that, Mark, as well, that if people were to get videos of themselves and then take that video to the head of snow school or to an educator, examiner, a coach, someone they regard and respect their views, and then talk yourself through the video against the criteria to see if you are aware of if you are achieving what is required for the standard of the exam you're going for, and if you can see the points and the action points actually happening within your video. And that starts to really highlight your awareness, and we would look for the exact same things that Mark's just mentioned. And strangely enough, it's not too strangely, but in a video a couple of weeks ago that I was talking about what the skis did and where the snow got pushed to and from what direction. And these are the things as educators and examiners we start to look at to give us signals as into what the skis are specifically doing. And if you can spot that in your own skiing through a video and then chat that through with someone, then yeah, that's a great way to do it. So
yeah, I did some of you might remember I did kind of give my little viewpoint on video a little while ago, and I did say that if video doesn't give you immediate information that you can interpret, then it's not feedback. Well, there's a difference between using video as a feedback tool and using it as like more of an after the fact learning tool. All right, I will kind of caveat what I said in an earlier chat with that. But if you take what Ali just said, when you're using video, if you're watching it, generally the reasons that people have trouble interpreting what's happening in their video is because they don't know what those outcomes look like. Okay, they don't have that clear direction to their lesson plan and their training plan with which to watch that video and make an assessment of it to understand what's happening in it. Okay, so really build that picture and knowledge and understanding that you have on what good skiing is, and then what it looks like at the standard you're trying to achieve.
Perfect. Mark, just to add that you've now suddenly got a lot of interest.
Yeah, I've seen the message popping up. Okay, yeah. Once I've cobbled it together, everyone, I'll deliver a full version of it on one of these chats if my laptop isn't completely broken.
And if people can't make any of the sessions where Mark does it, then we will be, once we can get groups and everything happening, we will be getting Mark down to down to Hemel, and we'll be doing some on snow training sessions with Mark. And so those that are interested, I'm sure we can get everyone involved, and Mark can start sharing that plan with everyone. So
yeah, as a shameless plug, I will be. I've just got to get my dot some I's and cross some T's, and then register at Hemel to work independently for myself. But obviously, at the moment, I'll be doing things specifically with Ali as well, anyway. And so I'll if anyone's for that shameless plug, if anyone's interested, and I won't take it personally if people just want to say no.
That's fine. So you've got Pam, Alison, Nick, Louise, Andrew, Simon, Linda, David. They're all interested. Can we get yourself and Mark to Chill Factor at some time? Yeah, we'll be up to Manchester at some point. We're gonna get some dates and courses going up there, Alison, as well. So
I think that's probably more than likely with some exciting news that might be unveiled at some point in the future.
I couldn't possibly comment.
I won't comment either. I'll leave it as that nice teaser cliffhanger right there, shall I?
Yeah, but we will be up there, Alison. Don't worry. For sure. Has anyone got any more questions? Because I've just looked at the time and it's 1:30. And if anyone's got a question they want to open up their mic and ask Simon, Mark, or myself, feel free to do so. Or if you want to quickly put something in the chat, do so. If not, then we'll bring it to a close in a minute. And I'd just like to say thanks to Simon and Mark for what they've done today, putting a bit of stuff together. And thankfully, Mark got his iPad phone and everything working of some sorts, which is good.
At least I had some way of doing it. I've seen Nick write in the chat. Nick, just give me a thumbs up? Am I right in saying you've got a background as a teacher, don't you? Yeah. It's worthwhile as you create these training groups and stuff like that. Ask people, like, when you've got people with backgrounds in teaching, it doesn't have to be skiing specific. There's a lot of people with a lot of knowledge in these chats and in these areas. So, anyone that's willing to help and add in and use their experience is all beneficial to everyone. So thanks for offering that, Nick.
Excellent, cool. All right, thanks to everyone's putting a few little comments in. So thanks everyone. Thanks for all showing up and attending. Hopefully you got a little something out of it. If there is anything specific, any questions that relate to instructor courses or exams, feel free to drop me an email. And if I need to send it to Simon or Mark, I can as well. And as I said, we will get Simon and Mark doing some stuff at Hemel and then potentially up at Chill Factor as well. And possibly some stuff with Mark over in Milton Keynes. So we'll try and cover all the areas. And feel free to get involved in anything we do. And have a good rest of the day. Hope you all enjoy your Saturday and weekend. And those that want to come along on Wednesday, we'll see you on Wednesday at 1:00. And see you all soon. Thanks a lot, everyone.
Guys.
Take care.
Thanks,
guys.
Much appreciated.
Pleasure. Our absolute pleasure. No problem at all. Look forward to the day trip up to Manchester. Okay, Louise. Nice one.
Yeah, me too. Knowing with Manchester. Let us know.
Excellent. Cool. We look forward to seeing you all there.
I might follow you up there and go and see some of my friends at Snow and Rock.
No problem. Excellent stuff.
Okay.
Road trip. Yeah. Cool. All right, guys. Have a good rest of the day, and we'll see you all soon. Cheers, guys.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks a lot.
Thanks, Ali.
Cheers, Sia, and